Guys, hello and welcome to the first weekend update of 2025. I'm excited to see you. I'm excited for the year ahead, and I'm very grateful for the break that we had. But jumping into it now, there's three things that I'm thinking about with this first update of the year. The sweet, I'll get into that. The sour, I'll get into that too. And the strategy, I'll wrap with that because basically the sweet and the sour, we just have to take it sometimes as it comes. The strategy is how we work within the news uh, and the opportunities and challenges that we're faced with. So let me dive into the weekend update right now with a first look at the December housing market, major markets, including San Diego. Keep in mind, we are a couple now, 3 years almost past the pandemic and the rates associated with the pandemic. There's no reason to benchmark those volume and unit numbers. So we're going to look at 2019. Here's the good news. Here's the sweet. In markets like San Diego, we were up 24% in December existing home sales, almost 24% year over year. So we saw a jump of about 1/4% in transactions. Something to keep in mind, the December closings got into contract generally late October, early November. Rates were lower than mid sixes than where they are today. So always keep that in mind of what was happening at that time. And I think that those were the contracts that just had to go in prior to the election, prior to the holiday. Things got a little bit sleepier around the actual election time. And then to close out the year, I think that stagnation, if you will, or that slowing of transactions leading up to the elections really impacted us during the holidays. So I'm glad to see we were up 24%. Sour side of this is that if we benchmark that to 2019, San Diego specifically was down the most, almost 55% from pre-pandemic levels of 2019 when rates weren't all that great either. Okay. We're seeing an uptick. We're not where we want to be. Next point and next link to that I'm going to talk about now are the jobs report that came out today. Wasn't a ton of news this week. There was a little bit of inflationary data, manufacturing pricing, things like that, not crazy off track. So those things were not harmful to us. But anytime we get a banger of a non-farm payroll number like we did this week, it's going to do two things. It's going to show that the employers have confidence, and that's going to give confidence to employees that are out there getting pay raises and jobs. But that's going to have a negative impact in some cases, and in this case specifically on interest rates, because we saw the Dow Jones take a big hit today, and we saw treasury yields surge to levels that we haven't seen since April, and pretty much at their highest levels over the last year. So we're going to see a little boost in rates, guys, but at the same time, if we take a look at the second link related to the jobs report, where are those jobs? Typically, non-farm payroll jobs, the heaviest weight continues to be in government and healthcare. Government's going to help my friends to the north in the Sacramento area, not so much in San Diego. But if you take a look at that link, you're going to see that we've created jobs not only in healthcare, which is a big sector for San Diego, but hospitality, another big sector for San Diego, and retail. And the important part about this is that they're not seeing this as just a blip. This isn't a seasonal hiring for retailers. This is showing that there's confidence that this market has avoided a major recession, and we're going to be in good shape for 2025 as consumers continue to spend their money on discretionary things like travel, food, retail. But most of the jobs, if you dig down, are higher paying jobs in markets that really bode well, like San Diego in these particular sectors. Last S of this update is strategy, guys. Right now, happening, actually just ended a couple minutes ago, is our home funded webinars. They're live every Friday from 10 to 10:45. Links down below for future webinars led by Doug Nesbitt. Doug is the director of our home funded program. I'm sure you've heard me talk about it, but if you haven't looked at it, you need to jump into a webinar live, done by Doug, and then you can circle with me about how we're using this. Over $250 million worth of home funded loans last year. There's nothing like it. And we do know that down payment is a major hurdle for buyers. On the flip side of things, list and luck, buy downs. I want to give you an example. The last two loans we closed of 2024 were a combined value of about $1.8 million. We had a combined $30,000 in seller credits negotiated up front. These aren't requests for repairs. These were credits and incentives provided by the sellers up front for us to get into contract. So on 1.8 million, almost $30,000, we're reaching almost a 2% seller incentive, which helps keep more cash for the buyers in their account post-close, or and or get them a better interest rate. And you can do that in the form of a long-term 30-year fix or a 1-year, 2-year buy down on behalf of the seller. We're finding solutions that help us deal with the sweet reports and the sour reports that we're getting that can put a damper on the housing market. We're not going to pay attention to that, because if sellers want to sell and buyers want to buy, we got to find solutions now. We can't wait for new news. We got to jump in and find ways to make deals happen. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching this. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback, and I'd love to meet with you if you're interested more on list and lock, home funded, all-in-one loan, all the things that we can do to help you win in 2025. Thanks so much, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you soon.